2,000 representatives from more than 60 countries are in southern China for the Boao Forum, referred to as the Asian Davos. The four-day event brings together business and political leaders. This year's theme is Asia in the Changing World, towards a shared future. The conference aims to promote multilateralism and joint approaches to global challenges. Discussions will focus on the trends that are driving economic growth. Well, Boao is a coastal town in China's southern Hainan province, and the region is looking to build a high-level free trade port by 2050. As part of that, the Hainan Free Trade Port is due to begin independent customs operations. For more insight into the significance of the Boao Forum for Asia, let's bring in China geopolitics and corporate affairs specialist Anna Ashton. She's the founder of Ashton Analytics. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us this evening. Explain to our global audience who may not follow economic forums closely what the key takeaway from Boao Forum is.
Thanks, Sally. I think that the key takeaway this year in particular is that, we're in a moment in the world where the global economic order is less stable than it's been in a really long time. And the bad part of that is that it creates all sorts of vulnerabilities for everyone, but especially global South countries. The good part is that maybe this is a moment where the global order can be changed and reshaped to be more beneficial to global South countries. And I think that is a key focus of this year's forum.
And economists have been expressing concerns over the future of global trade amid these heightened tariffs. Where do you stand on that topic? Do you think there is a future of free trade?
I think that we are entering a period where it's going to be less free overall. And hopefully, though, we can find other ways to make it more fair. I am personally pretty much a proponent of free trade. And so I think that the tariff policies of the U.S. government at this moment are, they're not what I would like to see. Certainly, they're not what many countries would like to see. But I think that's where we are, and we can expect that it's going to remain the case that the U.S. administration sticks to this stance. And so the question is, what else can be done to make global economic engagement a beneficial and positive thing for more countries?
The Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, RCEP, is the world's largest free trade pact, encompassing all 10 countries in the ASEAN bloc. Given the current conditions posed by the US that you just spoke of, how important is it, that the utilisation of RCEP is promoting economic integration?
It's never been more important. It was important from the moment that it became a new pact, because it is the largest one in the world and because it is centered in Asia, and Asia is really the economic engine of the 21st century. But it is even more important now that the U.S. has stepped away from its traditional positions about free trade and is sort of defying many of the rules and norms that it helped to write.
We know that China, Australia, New Zealand are part of, the big players in this region in terms of the global economics. But what role do global South countries play in shaping this new global economic order as we move into this chapter?
Well, they play an incredibly important role, Sally. Just looking at the countries that have senior representatives attending the forum, was struck by how many of them are countries that also have abundant resources, specifically resources, critical minerals or strategic minerals, depending on which country you're coming from, that are necessary to the green transition that so many countries are trying to pull off. And, a lot of these countries have been exploited many times in the past for their resources, and that's certainly been a pattern of global economic engagement, especially prior to there being the rules and norms that were established with the WTO. And now that those are gone, the risk of being exploited is pretty significant. So I think that those countries being at the table and really looking to other attendees, more developed attendees, for guidance and cooperation and partnership to try to leverage their resources towards the economic development of their nations, that makes the forum incredibly important for them.
And on that note, how does China balance its role as both a major economic power and a leading voice among these developing nations?
It's such an interesting role for any country to have. I think even if you took the position as, most U.S. political leaders have, that China is at this point a developed country, it wouldn't change the fact that China was very recently a developing country, from coast to coast or from east to west. And certainly, there is a credible argument that parts of China are still very much developing. So China understands the development challenge, both in a context that is much more modern than other developed countries, and also, in a more recent kind of way. In addition to that, though, China is, for many of these countries, the biggest investor and the biggest source of funding for infrastructure and other development opportunities. And I think what China needs to remember as it's going out and engaging with these countries, both for its own benefit and hopefully for theirs as well, is that most of these countries are not going to develop and be new Chinas because they just don't have the scale in terms of population, in terms of geography, and they don't have the infrastructure either. They don't have the things that would allow them to become powerful like China. So, applying the rules, but applying them in a different context.
Anna Ashton, thank you for breaking all that down for us. Really interesting and great to have you on the program tonight.
Thank you.